Hi, my name's Greg Twemlow. I'm the founder of a registered charity called the 7 Mile Venture Lab, and we're based on Sydney's Northern Beaches. Earlier this year, we received a grant from the Australian Department of Veterans Affairs titled Saluting Their Service. And the pitch we had given was the idea of finding veterans in the Northern Beaches, shooting the videos in conjunction with high school students, for most of them, and recording that into a film that we can release and make it available. Our very first interview is with Wal Edwards, OAM. Wal is a pretty special person. In a couple of months, he'll be celebrating his 104th birthday. He is, by any measure, an amazing person. We made the video in his home in Manly on August 12, 2020. And we were very delighted when our local Member of Parliament, James Griffin, agreed to be the interviewer. It was a fantastic afternoon. We did the whole setup. Our videography partner, Luna Media Productions, and Catalan Anastase was there with us doing a wonderful job. I think you're really going to enjoy hearing Wal's story and his philosophies on life. I think you'll really enjoy the interview.
Hi, I'm James Griffin. I'm the State Member for Manly and Parliamentary Secretary for Veterans in New South Wales. And today I've got the opportunity to speak to Wal Edwards OAM. Wal's turning 104 this November, and he's got a rich history and a story that most of us could simply dream of. I want to thank the Department of Veterans Affairs for providing this funding to enable us to tell the story of Wal and other veterans across the Northern Beaches.
Well, I happened to be a little bit older than most people. On the 3rd of September 1939, I happened to be 23 years old. I thought, oh boy, this is mad, this Hitler and what he's up to and whatnot, and where's this going to end? And from then on, you want to know when I was first called up, because it was 3 years after that. You see, I came from a very poor family, lived in Newcastle, Hamilton, and we went through the Great Depression. And where a lot of people had no money. They were suffering that much that I had to leave school after doing the intermediate certificate and come down to Manly to live. You can think about that.
Yep.
That's coming from hell to heaven on earth.
Well, a lot of people will
and I was wondering what it struck.
No, as a member for Manly, I share your view. You did come to heaven.
That's right.
It's a great place to live. And
it is.
How different was it back then when you got here?
Oh yes, it's fantastic because I saw the surf and then I saw the pool, and don't forget I was only about a bit over 15 then. I thought, this is great. And they used to have a circus in Gilbert Park. Yeah. And then there was Bert's milk bar there, and wow. You could go up and down the Corso, you know, and there wouldn't be too many people there. Yeah. But I used to go on the surf at the weekend, get all burnt up, and seeing I'm fairly fair, I got burned up. But then next week, I'd get over the peeling and go back again, have another go. So that was great. And then I happened to get a job at Macula's, the grocers in the Corso. I don't know whether you remember them or not.
No.
Ah, dear. and I was the boy. I had my own bicycle, and if Manly Hospital ran out of anything, the boy would take it up. And I ended up taking £70 a bag of sugar up on handlebars of my bike one day.
So you're getting
you can imagine that.
Getting up Darley Road on a bike with...
Yeah, but at that age, yeah. And you know what, I got 18 nights a week for that. And I got the sack 3 years afterwards because they had to pay me £2 and sixpence.
Oh no.
But they did me a great turn. Because I thought, well, here we are in a great depression here. I got the sack. I went up to Waters Cash and Carry and I said, hey, Mr. Curry, do you want to make more money? He said, everyone does, son, these days. I said, would you give me 10% if I bring in orders for you and you deliver them? He said, yes. And that, within about 3 or 4 weeks, I was earning twice as much as what I was earning at Mackelras. So I went back to Aussie Rear, and I said, thanks for giving me the sack. He said, why? I said, I've learned a lesson. I'll never ever work for a boss again in my life. I haven't.
Here we go. Well, so was it that bad back then? I mean, I think one of the amazing elements of being able to talk to you is to really get an appreciation and an understanding of how bad things were. I mean, we can read about it in a history book.
They were tough, and I'm very sad to think of what's going on now with this COVID-19 and the number of people that are losing their loved ones. What for? Why? And the trouble is, it's just around the corner. You never know who's going to get it, do you?
Do you feel any parallels between how people and communities came together and supported one another during war or depression, and at the same time today with COVID? Are there any similarities at all that you see?
Well, yes. It's getting to a stage where people do care what's going on. They do, and they want to contribute, and that's good.
And that's very much what your life has been about, service in many different forms.
Yes, that's it. I mean, after all, I did join Rotary in 1965, and I'm still in it. And that the motto is service of ourself. You know all about that.
Yes, yes.
And each year we have the Christmas Tree of Joy in St Ives, and there's a number of nursing homes and hospitals and war vets that I personally visit and get their names, their age, and what they like for Christmas. Put it down the card, and the public, we educate them over the years, and they look forward to it, and they contribute and buy the presents.
That's wonderful.
And then my son and I deliver it in his truck.
And that's just a small part of the work you've done as a welfare officer for veterans in our community.
Yes, I mean, well, the reason I was determined to do something really positive and volunteered to be the welfare officer at Harbour Diggers, I'd gone through a lot of grieving in my lifetime and losing loved ones. I lost a son who was 28 and a grandson at 38 and a wife at later on, and that you know, it makes you wonder, you know, how much do you have to go through in life? And I thought, well, how can I contribute? And I thought, well, now I know. What about the men that served in World War II, in Vietnam, and all these other places? And, you know, it's sad when they come back from being in the services to get back into civilian life, and they're not the same men. I'm going to help them.
Yep, and you've done that.
Well, I showed you the records.
Yep.
There's hundreds there. You've seen their names? You've seen the ones that died on there?
Yep.
Well, someone has to always be doing this. And I recommend that everyone should think about it every day of their life. Get up in the morning, get hate and anger out of their heart, stop worrying about yourself, because there's always someone worse off you down the street, and you can go and pick them up, can't you?
Yep.
You can even help someone going up and down the Corso
No, it's good.
if he
Good advice.
needs help.
You mentioned the Vietnam War and the Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
What was your observation? Because that was a really difficult time when they came back and weren't really respected.
Yeah, they weren't recognised enough. But we do. We do.
And did you recall having various? I mean, how did you feel given your service and then seeing these people come back from Vietnam? And there was a lot of confusion about why they were there and what was going on. But do you feel now, decades on, that, and I certainly do, that there's a lot better understanding and appreciation of what that conflict was about, and a lot more respect for our veterans?
Oh, well, look at the ones coming from Afghanistan too. Look how long they've been tied up to it. Well, we often wonder, when is all this going to end? And when are the ex-servicemen going to be recognised as a human being? For them coming back, I mean, people in civilian life, they cannot realise what it's like, because you've only got to be in it for a very small time to know, hey, I'm not in charge of anything. I can't do anything. I'm subject to someone else giving me orders. And I'm used to my own decisions in life, and someone else is telling me what to do. You're joking. When I did not join up, I was called up. At the time, I had 2 children. I was 26. One was 2, one was 3. And I thought, oh God, I'm called up from this. Here I am. I went through the Great Depression. I worked hard. I own this house, and I own the house next door, and I feel as though I'm secure in life. I made it.
Yep.
And here I am. I'm called up to serve the country, which you know, someone has to. But for me, it seems, you know, it's a bit unusual to earn something like 6 shillings a day they're talking about. Well, I can earn plenty of money outside.
Yep. Well,
but see, that happened, but then I changed my mind. You know what changed it?
What?
Okay, the Japs came into our harbour and started mucking up. That was about a month after I was in the army. I thought, oh, hey, I'm not going to be called a choco now. I joined the AIF.
So it was that moment.
That moment.
The mini subs came into the harbour, and
yes,
you know, so that prompted you to say, right, enough's enough, and off you went.
Yeah.
And had to say essentially goodbye to your 2-year-old, and
yeah,
or you had
2 and 3-year-old.
Yeah. That must have been a very difficult decision to.
Well, it wasn't a decision of mine. I was called up. We had to go in then.
And then, so that war then takes place. How did you feel when it was all over?
Well, I felt, oh dear, well, at last I can start living again like a normal human being. But I felt as though, you know, nobody seemed to care too much about whether you had been a soldier or whether you know. were just living an ordinary life. So I wandered around and was thinking about what I'll do and what I won't do, and I sold the 2 houses I had in Leichhardt, and I built another one in Lane Cove, and I was there for a few years. Not many years there, but then I was asked by the manager of a tannery, his name was Bill Duck, he said, "Well, I see what you're doing to your place there, you've got a nice garden and everything, you're a good worker." He said, "Well, I'd like to go into partnership with you in a dairy farm." I said, "Dairy farm?" I said, "Look, I've been used to sleeping on the land, I love the land." I said, "I've been living in tents for 4 years, you know, and all of this. Well, I think it's a good idea too." So we went up and down the country, and we found a place down in 200 acres down at outside of Cabargo, at Coolagolite.
Yep.
And there was 56 milking cows, and because I hadn't had anything to do with a cow, but now I love cows. I can look them in the eye and say, "Oh, you're beautiful."
So you go from no experience with cows or dairy farming to your mate getting in touch and saying, "Right, let's do this."
That's right, but what about this though?
Yeah.
We hadn't been there for very long, and the machines broke down. So you can imagine milking 56 cows between the two of you twice a day.
So was there anything that you could reach inside yourself and that you took from your service in the army that helped you when the machines broke down, even just being resilient?
Oh yes, yeah.
About thinking, look, I've got to get the job done.
You just accept it. That's the thing. Whatever happens in life from then on, you just accept it and say, "Well, I'm not in charge of anything."
Yep.
And but then I didn't last too long doing that. I was doing the pasture improvement in a Ferguson tractor. Well, you know, if you go up there a little bit of incline like that, you can go back like that. Well, if you're experienced anyway. Yeah. But I got the job done, fertilising the paddocks, and Bill was mending the fences and putting new fences up. And we improved the property so much, we entered the dairy competitions for the South Coast, we won it.
Wow, there you go. And how long after setting it up was that? A couple of years?
That was the next year.
Wow.
Anyway, I sort of sold out to Bill. I thought, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life.
Yep, moved on.
And I wandered around and went to various places and did other various things, and I thought about real estate, and I did. I got a job with Austin Brummer. He had been a prisoner of war, and he had a business in Epping, and he wanted someone to help him, and I helped him so much that I sold 7 houses in one day.
Wow!
An accumulation of people that I'd shown houses to, but that went on a bit. Austin had married a lady who had a grown-up family and was sending them to boarding schools and things like that, and he had to make money to keep her going.
Expensive, yeah.
But he was a nervous wreck, and we opened a shop at the Epping station, and he was in the one in the house. And one day his wife phoned me and she said, "Oh, well, come down quickly. Austin has cut his wrists." So I raced down there, and Austin was in the shower with an empty Scotch bottle and a bottle of pills. And he was dead then.
Gee.
Blood all over the place, so I rang the police and the ambulance, and that was that. But then I was with her for 3 or 4 weeks, and I thought, well, there's no future in this, and it's sad.
You mentioned he was a person of war. Was he? Do you think, in hindsight, that was post-traumatic stress? The reason why he took his own life, do you think that was because he went to war?
Yes, he stressed from that. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And
then he was a nervous wreck because of that, and it compounded when he needed money.
So I would like to hope that we've learnt a lot of lessons from the mistakes of the past, and not diagnosing Austin because he went to war and helping him transition out of...
No, that's very sad.
You know,
very sad.
So I hope...
But see, the thing is this, there are still people who have come back from after serving in the forces who are nervous wrecks. I know there's one man, he lived in Balgowlah here, and he had been called up, and he was in New Guinea, and he was facing the Japs there. He was telling me about it, about how nervous he still was, and his mate got killed alongside of him, and he still had, you know, he'd wake up during the night screaming. Well, you know, when I start hearing his stories and whatnot, you think of all the other people who've gone through it during the other areas of war.
And did you experience many of them with your work at the Diggers when you were acting as welfare officer there? Obviously you would have seen similar...
Oh yes, well I would see them, and I'd go and see them in war vets, you know.
Up at Collaroy?
Yes. Yeah. That's it. They are well looked after there. That's very good.
No, they do a good job.
Oh yes, all the different houses, and well, I officiated for the RSL part of the funeral for Meg's Madigan, and Meg's had been instrumental in creating Harbour Diggers. Anyhow. But then over the years I thought, well, I got to stick to this job, and I have.
Yeah, you certainly have.
Full stop.
Certainly have.
And then, as far as the ones that needed help, and with Department of Veteran Affairs, I told you about that before, how I represented them and worked hard on a number of them, and the files, some of them are that thick, you know, that I've got in the cupboard.
Yeah, well, I'm sure their families and...
They have been cooperative with me,
Yep.
Department.
Good.
So it's praiseworthy that we do get help when we work hard enough to convince them.
Good. So what about some, if you had three tips for people that want to live a long and fulfilled life, what would they be? What now that you're, you know, not far off your 104th birthday, what are the three things that people can take from your knowledge to give themselves a fulfilled life?
Well, my tips are this: to have a happy life, you must always get hate and anger right out of your heart, because it only comes back on you anyway. You think about it, how terrible you feel if you hate somebody or something and you're angry about something. You only feel bad yourself after it. You don't feel good. You think about it. And to get that way that you want to think about. When you get up in the morning, what do you think about? Think about somebody else that's worse off than you. But don't only think about them. Give them a call on the phone. Go and see them. Ask them how well they are. Go and help them. If they're sick, go and visit them in the hospital. And it's no good thinking about these things. Act on it. Anyone can think, but you must act, and then you will be rewarded in your heart. So just think about those words: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. I haven't got any of those, but I think about it and I try and act. Well, action's the word. Get out and do it. Good luck to you. God bless you.